It's Momo Monday, and you know what to do. Breathe in. And out. And breathe in. And out. And let me tell you, I need Momo Monday breathing more than anybody this week because I am exhausted by being surrounded by anger and insults and ad hominem attacks and people freaking out. Everywhere I turn, someone is calling me stupid or something I did stupid or I'm an idiot or I'm juvenile or how could I or I'm a hypocrite. It is ad hominem. It is attacking the person instead of the issue at hand. And even issues at hand don't get solved by attacking them. Screaming and yelling and freaking out doesn't solve problems. It may wear you out. It may blow off a whole bunch of energy so that you temporarily feel better, but it doesn't improve your circumstance. What improves your circumstance is getting down and solving the problem and making lasting changes so the problem doesn't happen again. And yet people seem to want to flip out, start name calling, and expect a good resolution. And I can't change other people. But lately, I certainly don't want to be around other people. I've started producing a live comedy show. And the trick to being a good producer is to not try to treat talent like they are machines, like they are supposed to do everything you want them to do. You have to give them enough leeway to feel like they're being heard, to make the project as best it can be. And that means sometimes they do things that you don't like and you don't understand. The problem is I am getting blamed every damn week for something somebody else says. And it's a comedy show. And in comedy, no matter how much you try to be inoffensive, the very nature of comedy means someone is going to be offended, right? I mean, even the whole slip on a whole banana peel or throw pies in someone's face can be interpreted as violence by some people. There is no way to please all of the people all of the time. And even people who, when it doesn't personally affect them, are these so-called free speech advocates, lose it and start trying to shout down people, start trying to just shame them or bully them into conforming when they don't even understand what you're actually upset about. And sometimes you can be completely understanding about what someone's problem is. But all you can say to them is, look, this is the nature of the program. And I understand that it has a bad effect on you. But without some meaningful solutions, the program is not going to change. Unless people can actually suggest ways to maintain the creative integrity of a program without doing something that triggers someone, well, we have to just keep going. And I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from it. Because unlike when people come at me for my own stuff, I can't do anything about what Ed the Sock does. I can lodge the complaint, but I am not going to start staging coups on the air, refusing to play videos on program rundowns. Like, I can't do that. I can't jump in on content. It is not my show. I am just producing the show. That would be like asking Family Guy to suddenly be inoffensive, feel-good comedy or something akin to This Is Us, where people cry every week and, oh, don't we feel good because we're crying with these people who are crying. That's not what people watch our program for. And I don't know what to do about it because it's wearing me down. And I'm saying this just so people can get a better sense of what entertainers go through. I mean, I spent Thursday having to figure out how to compassionately and covering all sides deal with 6 people getting killed by someone just because they were in a mosque. And the country is still in a state of shock because people falsely believe that these things don't happen here. They do. They happened when I was in school, where I lost my friend to the Air India bombing. They happened, well, I'm talking elementary school. I was 6 at the time. And then it happened again when I was in high school, and the École Polytechnique shooting happened, and women were gunned down while a guy was cursing feminists. And you want to know why there's sort of less active anti-feminism in Canada than other parts of the world? Because of that. Because we're a bit more sensitized to what cursing, not specific points of feminism that you disagree with. That is fair and that is valid. But cursing feminists themselves is ad hominem. And in the case of one very angry individual, it was fatal to multiple women who may or may not even been feminists. They were just students. The guy assumed they were feminists. And even if they were, being a feminist doesn't mean you deserve to get killed. It's the same thing with Muslims now. Being a Muslim does not mean that you should be subjected to collective blame because other people in, your group are doing bad things. And it's not because they're Muslim, it's because a group that is interested in power is using a religion to get their way. The people that killed my friend were Sikhs. And they killed 300 some odd people with 2 bombs in an airplane. That wasn't Islam. It was the same urge. Their grief was they wanted an independent homeland for Sikhs, Khalistan. And so they took to violence. And, people unhappy with the situation in Ireland took to violence. And people who have been unhappy with other things throughout history take to violence. And people get killed. And again, if you want to criticize certain aspects of any religion, you should be entitled to do that. Certain ideas are put in some religious text deliberately to challenge the adherent. But most people don't get to that because most people hit one thing that's hard or one thing that they disagree with. And instead of struggling with it, instead of going through it, they run away from it. And this happens not just religion. This happens with any hard thing. If you have any addict in the family and you have to go to counseling, whether it's, AA or Al-Anon or anything like that, the whole family has to learn that you can no longer run from hard stuff. You have to go through bad feelings and hard feelings because escaping from them is precisely what perpetuates that cycle of addiction and enabling that addiction. And right now, we are addicted to fear and blaming whatever that easy scapegoat is for that fear. It's easy to deflect a problem. It's easy to run away from a problem, from a bad impulse, from evil by saying it's somebody else. That is othering the evil impulse. But what's much more productive is realizing that these tendencies are in all of us. And the way we choose to conduct ourselves are choices. The minute you catch yourself saying, I had no other choice, it's really not true. It's really not true. Now, sometimes it was the best choice of a set of bad choices. But recognize that. I mean, the people who are telling me off, yeah, I could have decided to hijack the show. I could have quit and refused to do it, but I didn't consider those the best choices. I considered the best choice was to make my case. And if I won, I won. If I lost, I lost. But I can't continue. First of all, I have to earn a living. Second of all, I can't continue to be a positive influence if I'm not there. And there's so much virtue signaling and so many purity tests out there now that people expect other people to walk away from things if they're not perfect. And perfect is the enemy of the good. Because the question is, if you're insulting a person, why should they be kind to you? Why should they do anything to meet you in the middle? You're attacking them. You're calling them a name. And the best is when someone is saying you're stupid and juvenile and then expect anything from the other person other than, see ya. Because you're setting an expectation there. You're telling the person you think they're being stupid and juvenile. And psychology actually says when you frame a conversation that way, people act stupid and juvenile. But you're insulting them. You are acting like a child by falling prey to petty insults. And then you expect the person you're talking to be better than you. And that's not fair. That's not accountable. Accountable is a better word. I am sick to death of the accountability gap I'm seeing. And some people will probably be offended by this. Some people will probably personalize this. And if you are, it might be good for you. It might be good for you. The foundation of my work is studying things that offend me. And instead of just deciding that somebody needs to make it all better for me, no, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out where the disconnect here. If I have an issue with the Dorksiders, I'm going to be able to elocute why, right? If something makes me feel threatened, I have to decide whether that thing is inherently bad or whether it's a sensitivity I have that isn't the fault of a movie or a video game, right? And this is work I do. And this is what informs my work. And if you're watching this channel, you probably like my work. So I'm begging you, please just try to incorporate that example as well. If you get offended by something, don't just blow up. Don't just go around offending other people, calling them a whole bunch of names because you have been triggered. Just figure out exactly what the nature of your complaint is and proceed based on that. Because let me tell you, as someone who's been doing entertainment for half my life, literally half my life now, it is much more effective when somebody goes, "Are you aware of this?" than, "You're stupid and you're this and you're bad and this and I demand you admit this was wrong." And that never works. Because here's the thing about television production. The producer, the worst thing you can do is sell out your talent as a producer. I'm not going to say, yes, I agree that what another person did was wrong. Yes, I agree that a decision that another person made was wrong. I'm not going to do that because how can they trust me? That's the stereotypical Hollywood thing of, everybody's nice to your face and then they stab you in the back. I'm not going to be a part of that. You're asking me to sell out somebody else's choice, somebody else's decision. You're not going to get that from me. So this is me being intolerant for a good reason. I'll close off. Breathe in. And out. And breathe in. And out.